The first day of a new teacher was always supposed to be filled with nervous smiles, polite greetings, and perhaps a little tension about whether the students would listen or not. But for Miss Arya Khan, the young woman walking into the large high school classroom for the very first time, the tension was different. She wasn't scared of students ignoring her. She wasn't worried about lesson plans or chalk stains on her sleeves. She had faced much worse in her life. She carried the scars of battles most people would never understand. But the one thing she didn't know was that in this class, a group of boys was waiting to test her limits in a way that would shake the entire school. Arya walked in wearing a neat white shirt tucked into a black skirt, her hair tied back in a simple ponytail. Her calm confidence showed in the way she carried herself, even though her eyes revealed a softness, almost like she was hiding something heavy inside. She placed her books down on the desk and turned to the class with a polite smile. "Good morning, everyone. I'm Miss Khan, your new English teacher." Her voice was steady, warm, and gentle. Some of the students responded with a respectful, "Good morning." But at the back of the room, 3 boys slouched in their chairs, smirking at each other. Their leader, a tall boy named Zain, whispered something to his friends, and they all laughed under their breath. They had a reputation for causing trouble, but nobody ever stood up to them. Teachers usually either ignored them or sent them to the principal's office, only for them to return with smirks because their parents were influential in the town. As Arya started writing her name on the board, one of the boys muttered loud enough for the whole class to hear, "Nice skirt, miss. Bet you wore it just for me." Laughter erupted. The classroom energy shifted instantly. A few students looked shocked, others tried not to laugh, and some looked down nervously, not wanting to be targeted. Arya paused, the chalk in her hand still pressed against the board. Slowly she turned around, her eyes locked onto the boys. The room fell into a strange silence. For the first time, someone wasn't pretending they didn't hear the insult. Arya's gaze wasn't filled with anger or embarrassment. It was calm, controlled, almost piercing. The boy shifted uncomfortably in his seat, but quickly forced a smirk to cover it up. "What? Can't take a joke, teach?" She took a step forward, her voice soft but clear. "What's your name?" "Zain," he said, leaning back as though he owned the classroom. "Well, Zain," she said, still looking directly into his eyes, "it seems like you're trying to impress your friends. But you should know something. Real strength isn't shown by disrespecting others. It's shown by discipline." Some students looked at each other, surprised. Most teachers would have yelled or threatened detention. But her words were different, almost dangerous in their calmness. Zain felt the eyes of the classroom on him, and he didn't like it. The lesson continued, but the air was thick. Zain and his friends whispered, exchanged smirks, and planned their next move. By the end of the class, when Arya bent down to pick up a marker she had dropped, one of the boys flicked a paper ball at her back. Another tapped his desk loudly, making animal noises. The class laughed. Arya straightened up, ignoring it, but her eyes flickered with something only a few sharp students noticed. She wasn't weak. She wasn't afraid. She was waiting. The second day, things escalated. When she entered the room, Zain deliberately pulled out the chair from under her as she was about to sit. She caught herself just in time, avoiding the fall. The class erupted in laughter again. This time, she didn't even look rattled. She simply placed the chair back with controlled movements, sat down, and began teaching as though nothing had happened. But the quiet intensity in her eyes sent a chill through the room. The boys weren't satisfied. They wanted to break her. They wanted to prove no teacher could control them. By the third day, their whispers turned into comments, and their comments turned into shoves when she walked past. Still, she remained unshaken. But Zain had one last plan, the one that would push everything too far. It happened on a Friday. The room was buzzing with weekend excitement, and the boys had gathered the courage to go through with their cruel prank. As Arya leaned over a student's desk to check an assignment, Zain and one of his friends came up from behind her. In a swift, shocking move, Zain grabbed her shirt collar and yanked hard, ripping the fabric. The sound of tearing cloth echoed in the stunned silence of the classroom. Gasps filled the room. Arya froze for a fraction of a second, her body stiff, the torn edge of her shirt exposing her shoulder. The humiliation was supposed to crush her. Zain laughed. His friends laughed. The classroom was filled with nervous, shocked stares. But then, She moved. Her hands dropped the books instantly. She turned with lightning speed, her body twisting with precision no one expected. In one fluid motion, she gripped Zane's arm, shifted her weight, and the next thing anyone knew, his body was lifted off the ground. The slam was thunderous as he hit the classroom floor flat on his back, the breath knocked out of him. The laughter stopped. Silence. The other boys stepped back, wide-eyed. Arya's posture was unshaken, her breathing steady, her eyes locked onto Zane, who was groaning on the floor, clutching his back. She hadn't just defended herself, she had revealed something nobody in that school knew. "Class dismissed," she said in a calm but firm voice. Her shirt was torn, but her dignity stood taller than ever. Students rushed out, whispering, stunned, electrified by what they had just witnessed. Some were terrified. Some were inspired. But one thing was clear: the new teacher wasn't just another victim of bullies. She was something far more dangerous. Someone trained, someone disciplined, someone who would not be broken. That night the entire school buzzed with the story. Rumors spread like wildfire. "Did you hear what happened in room 12? She flipped Zane like he weighed nothing. Miss Khan is a black belt or something. She's scary, but in a good way." The bullies who had ruled the school for years suddenly found themselves at the center of mockery. Their power was fading, and Arya's legend was just beginning. But deep inside, Arya knew this wasn't just about one fight. Her past was filled with shadows of battles and training sessions with her late father, a judo master who had taught her that strength wasn't about showing off. It was about protecting dignity, about knowing when to fight back. And now, life had forced her to reveal that side of herself again. What nobody knew was that this throw in a classroom was just the beginning of a storm.